being a special teams guy, ace, right? You know, and when changes happen and stuff like that, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because you play, you know, nickel, corner, and safety at times, right? Sometimes those could be, you know, the hardest decisions that teams have to make. Yeah. Not like, how do you go about with that mindset? Like, what is your mindset when you know you have to be in one of those phases of, not necessarily a bubble phase, but like one of those guys from outside looking in, like. Because that was me at one point, right? When I was with the Niners, we had, you know, coaching change and you know, special teams guys coming up and another special teams guy taking jobs elsewhere. And for me, I was like, well, I'm, you know, I don't have a position solidified just yet at the running back position, and you know, I'm doing a hell of a job at special teams, but I had to make that focus, right? Yeah. So like, well, what is something that you try to dial in on when it's something like that, especially during the off season?
Yeah, for me, like obviously I've got the name that I got from being a special teams guy. So for me, I already know if somebody picks me up, it's like your first focus is going to be go in there, make special teams play when you need to make them, be that guy they think they can count on when you need them. And for me, on top of that, it's like, okay, if I'm in there, you know, make sure you know the defense. So if something happens, they can put you in and count on you to, you know, get through a game, get through until we can get guys back or whatever it is. Like, I'm not ever expecting to go out there and be like, hey, I'm going to end up being a starter now. But I'm like, okay, if I need to go in there for a couple plays, a package here and there to, you know, get us through a game or something like that, I want to make sure I know what I'm supposed to do so that they trust me, like, okay, we can put this guy in and do that. And it, you know, the more you can do, the more, you know, teams want to have you around.
Yeah, that's true too. Like, you know, it's almost like you're a jack of all trades when you're on the field. You have to play so many different positions, you know, like for you, like I said, for instance, right, you have to be a nickel. Then sometimes they have to put you out there in corner, and then you have to be free or strong safety, depending on, you know, what's going on in the package. If they try to utilize dime or anything like that. Yeah. And then you got to go out there and play, you know, the L3 or L4 on kickoff. You have to play the right guard on kickoff return. You have to play gunner. You have to play, you know, all these other positions just to, you know, be out there and have their trust.
That's kind of what happened like 2 years ago when, you know, we just had a string of injuries at cornerback. I played corner, I played nickel, I played dime, I played safety. Yeah. And then, you know, you're not going to get taken off on special teams. And so
because you like, already a lock on that. So your rep count, as soon as an injury happens, your rep counts just skyrocket. You go from, I'm going to play about, you know, 10, 12 plays on special teams to, shoot, I might be in here for about 30.
That's what happened. I mean, that's what happened to me this year. It was, you know, Ramsey got hurt, OTAs, other guys getting hurt, and then I was doing a good job. I got hurt, unfortunately, my MCL, right before we started doing preseason games. So it was like, okay, I missed all my preseason games, came back, did some dime, and then it was like, okay, somebody got hurt, we need somebody to go in. It's like, okay, next game, Justin, you had maybe 20-something plays. Okay, now you're going to start at nickel. I'm like, I went from 20-something plays to 70 leading the team. And then, you know, you're playing, that's the hardest thing is when you're a guy who has to do special teams and then you start at defense and you're starting on every special team still. Yeah. Like some of them you can kind of take off, but for us as a gunner, like there's no faking gunner. Yeah, no, you got to run 60 yards, full speed and
beat double teams.
And the first half is like, oh, it's cool. But that second half, once all them sprints start catching up to you. So it's definitely a challenge, but you know, you got to do what you got to do and try and make a name for yourself, whatever way presents itself.
Yeah, I've always, you know, accredited like special teams because I felt like that was the start of my career, and that was something that I truly wanted to focus on. You know, I knew I wasn't gonna be a starter at the time. Yeah, when I was younger, my younger self. If you asked me, I would have told you, I am a starter. I have to starter, you know, capabilities. My qualities can match a starter's qualities at the running back. But, you know, I knew that I was third, fourth, sometimes fifth on the depth chart. And so I always utilize special teams as my way of getting on the field, my way of showing hey, look, you can hold me back from being a running back, but you're not finna hold me back
from making plays.
I'm a
playmaker, man. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what I do. I like the physical aspect. Mm-hmm. I like tackling. I like, shedding blocks. I like using my speed to my advantage and beating double teams. I mean, what greater joy do you have?
Making a play off of a double team.
Making a play off a double team. Like when you're going down there and kick, like whooping the corners and the safety's asses at the line of scrimmage, and then going down there and making a tackle on a returner. Like that gives me thrill.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like I know for me coming out, I went to a small school, Presbyterian College. We was talking about this.
Yeah. He's literally one of we
had 1,300 kids when I was.
He's about like one of the only players in the league in the last decade to come out of Presbyterian. Yeah.
So
which is cool though. Don't get me wrong.
It's definitely cool to be able to come from a small school. But coming from a small school, I kind of knew it was like, okay, like even like some of my coaches and like my agents, it was like, hey, like coming out, I was probably one of the better special teams guys coming out that year. So it was like for me, I knew. Like, okay, if I can make some plays on special teams, that's how I'm gonna get into the league, and that's what happened. That preseason, I blocked 3 kicks, had a couple tackles, blocked one, a punt, picked it up, ran in for a touchdown. And that was kind of like, okay, you made it. I think it was the 3rd preseason game. We played the Raiders. I was like, okay, you pretty much made the team. But I was like, okay, and that was my way into it. And through doing that. Like if you're one of the core special team guys, and this is what a lot of young guys, especially I feel like now, don't really understand. It's like if you're a core special teams guy, like you're going to be on the field, like you're going to be at the game dressed out. Like there's 53 who make it, and there's only 40. What is it? 44, 45?
46.
Okay, 46 that dress. So like there's going to be, they have to pick and choose. Okay, we can't have this receiver up. We need a lineman. Yeah. Like now it's like, do they pick you over that other guy? And it's all based off you on the special teams coach. Like, hey, we need this guy. He's got to be out there. He's going to make plays for us, and I can't be without him. And then for me, that was kind of like what led me into being able to play more corners. I was always out there, and it's like, okay, well, he's going to be out there. Let's get him a package or something. Yeah. And then you go out there and make some plays in that package, and then you gradually get to do more and more. So, it's a third of the game. It's the third phase, not always getting all the joy until something big happens, but it's there.
Yeah, I feel like the third phase doesn't get enough excitement. Like people aren't too excited. Like when we were playing, when our younger selves, when we were, back in the day, right? Yeah. When we were playing and stuff like that, as special teams, like I felt like there was a pride of joy and a pride, like you put your pride on the line because you were out there with the number, your name meant something. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, I just feel like dudes they just see, all the fame and everything like that. Yeah. And they want to skip the hard stuff and go straight into their position.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, you can't do that.
Yeah. I remember what, my rookie year, like I made the team and everything. And I was making plays. But I kind of got satisfied. I was like, I'm in the league. I made it. I'm on the team. So like I was in meetings. I'd be falling asleep in meetings, might show up late or something like that. And I just remember one meeting I came and I fell asleep. And then like right after the meeting, one of the older guys, he had probably already been in the league 6 years or whatever, but he was a special teams guy too. Yeah. And I remember he took me aside. I'm pretty sure a coach told him to say something to me, but took me to the side and he was like, hey man, he said, you be coming late to meetings, falling asleep, all this stuff. He's saying, this is how I feed my family. Right. So for you telling me you don't care about me, you don't care about my kids, you don't care about my family, because this is how I eat, this is how I take care of my family. So for you to show up late, fall asleep, and not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and saying you don't care about me. And I was like, dang, yeah, you right. And after that, it was like, that was kind of all she wrote. I bought in, I was doing what I needed to do, watching extra film on all the special team stuff. And like, that was like, for me, that was my moment. Was like, it's not just like, oh, I'm here, I made it. It's just special teams. Like, no, like a lot of guys, this is how, we make our money. This is how we feed our families. This is how we stick around. So I think, especially young guys, the newer generation, I would say, is like you said, they just I want to be that star cornerback. I want to be that star receiver. I want to be the starting running back. Like that I don't do that. Like I ain't do that in college. Like that ain't me right there.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, bro, what you did in college got you here, but you haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
So
like you haven't made a name for yourself just yet. So you got to like,
do your dues.
Put your dues in. The only way to do that is by special teams. Is by being bought in that, you know, you can go out there and make a play on special team. They still gonna call your name up on the intercom, like all that stuff.
And then when you get your chance to, you know, play that position and you ball out and you make it there, it's like, hey. But until you've made that name or done what you need to do, like you gotta fight to get on the field whatever way you can. And the easiest way is always special teams, because there's gonna be 22 people for there's 22 people for every phase. So.
Yeah, I love that story, because I remember, you know, when I was playing special teams, at first, the first couple of years, I was playing it just because I felt like I was good at it. I wasn't really like, I was dialed in at playing gunner and being a kick returner and being an off returner at times, a block, doing like little trick stuff here and there, right? Trying to go in as the edge and try to block a punt, and I really took pride in being the PP, right? I took pride in all that stuff.
Ooh, but PP, personal protective. I don't want that personal right protective.
That's tough, because you got somebody that's like 300 pounds coming towards you. You know,
A-gap open up. You
got to bulk up. you gotta try to get that dude down somehow. But you know, I started realizing like it was probably the end of my second year. That's when I realized like, yeah, I'm just going to make a name for myself on special teams. Like my first year, I was going through all these different teams and being cut, but I was still playing. I was still on the active roster. So I was still contributing as a returner. Like I led the league in average yards per return. My rookie year, I think I was like 35 yards a return, 35.6. And so I felt like I was happy about that, because I was gonna be a Pro Bowler eventually, and that's the mindset I was having. But nowadays, it just seems like nobody really cares. Like nobody has the the enthusiasm to go out there and try to put on.
If you look at how the league's doing it too, though, they're like kickoff, for example. They added the way the rules are set up. You know, you got the fair catch thing now, so it's like a team, literally, if you kick it, most teams now are trying to kick it out the end zone just to get the offense on the field. Yeah. And then if you do kick it in bounds, it's like, okay, you can just fair catch it and get at the 25, just like it went out. So it's like one of those things. It's like the league isn't helping the special teamers out that much.
But I feel like they're helping in it's a catch-22, right? It's like you either the player safety or taking it out of the game, which is like, to me, that's unheard of. Like, I can't imagine a game without a kickoff. Yeah, well, because
you look at, like, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't happen a lot, and most people forget about special teams until, okay, you kicked it off and they ran it back for a touchdown. Yeah, like now it's like, oh, special teams. Like, it's like, okay, we were here the whole time doing stuff. It's just you don't notice it until something really bad happens to you or something really good happens to you. Right. So it's, it is what it is.